Hello, Gemini, and welcome in. I'll be doing your reading today for the first half of August, and we'll be looking at your career job perspective, your love life and relationships, and then also looking at your um, life path and mission. But before we jump into that, there's a few kind of bigger changes to take a look at, or bigger things that are happening in August. Starting on August 1st, there's the Sturgeon full moon in Aquarius, and that is a supermoon. It's the first of the two full moons in August. There's another one at the end of the month. So that one is about expressing original thoughts and ideas, even if they're maybe unpopular thoughts. So that's really about kind of standing in your true self. Last time we had talked about North Node moving into Aries, which is about standing in your truth and kind of being unapologetically you. So this full moon is definitely a great time for that sort of message as well. And it's also a wonderful time if you have crystals and if you're using crystals, whether it's the small ones or, like I have some of the palm stones and then the towers that I use, you can put them out in the light of the full moon overnight, and that helps to cleanse them, kind of get all that negative energy out. So something you can do on the full moon. And then also right now we're also in that Lionsgate portal. It's already opened, but it peaks on August 8th and then it closes up by the 12th. And that is about kind of manifesting new ideas and aspirations. So this is a great time to really up your manifesting game. So let's go ahead and jump in and see what the reading has in store for us. And I will also be talking about some of the planets that are in retrograde as we go through the reading for today as well. All right. So in the recent past, we have Knight of Swords energy, the Empress in reverse, and then the Six of Swords. So your Knight of Swords energy is going to be that like impulsivity. They're coming in, he's coming in kind of sword up, ready to go. So there's a lot of kind of fast moving energy wanting to go for it. So that's in the recent past. But you're currently sitting in like this feeling of blocked creativity and kind of feeling unappreciated and some kind of dependency issues, like not really standing on your own 2 feet. So it's kind of like you were really excited about it, and then you kind of hit a little bit of a block from a work perspective. And then it looks like, though, it's going in the direction of positive change and kind of moving on or traveling. So a lot of times, in this card where they're in the boat and they're moving away, they're going towards some of this, I guess greener pastures. So it looks like maybe that's something to do with a change on the horizons from a career or a job perspective. And that, like and as I talked about with the retrogrades kind of call you to turn inward and look at what needs to be healed in order to move forward. So some of that is about, like with the Saturn in retrograde, it's how can we attain our goals and what do we need to be investing our energy in? And the Pluto retrograde, because Pluto is kind of a destroyer, and so that's looking at what needs to be transformed. So it looks like you have some good positive ideas and energy behind what do you want to do job wise, and you may have hit a little bit of a block, but you're moving forward. So that's some good positive momentum, positive energy there. So next, let's take a look at what is happening on the relationship side of things. So you have the Hanged Man in the recent past, your Five of Swords in your present energy, and King of Cups as the likely outcome or next level of energy. And the Hanged Man, that's kind of this, and it is self-imposed, and you're kind of wondering what needs to be changed, maybe looking at things from a different perspective. So with the Hanged Man, since the person is literally hanging upside down, there is this element of seeing things from the other perspective. Sometimes it also is like sacrifice and readjustment and kind of some rebirth. So you've maybe been thinking about your relationship, or if you're single, you've been thinking about being single, how do I look at that from a different perspective? The energy that you're currently sitting in is, there is the Five of Swords is actually, it's kind of a little bit of like a ruthless energy and some dishonesty and some ambition. I mean, so he's holding on to the two or to three of the swords there, and then there's a couple on the ground, and people have sort of turned away from from this figure here. So it's a little bit of a tough energy currently, but you're moving into this King of Cups energy, which is that wisdom and balance and kind of that calm energy. So the swords have to do with thought. So a lot of this is some of your thoughts and like what's running through in your mind. And if you've been in a tough situation, maybe you're trying to see it from different standpoints. Maybe you did decide that, I need to be a little bit more firm and direct, and stop being so selfless and kind of taking some of that energy back. So that can come across as a little bit of that ruthless sort of energy. But part of that too, when we were talking about the Aries in retrograde, or not in retrograde, sorry, North Node moving into Aries, when you're really talking about what is your life path, what is it that you're supposed to be doing, some of that is also about balancing that energy of being selfless and giving with a healthy level of selfishness. So, with that kind of being the energy right now, a little bit of that kind of selfish energy, it is going to lead to balance, which is what you're looking for in your relationships. Is you want to have that balanced energy. You don't want to be giving and giving and giving without having your bucket filled as well. So let's take a look. And Venus is also one of the planets that's in retrograde, so that sometimes has that kind of tough energy for relationships, and so things are, might be changing on that front. But one of the other things too is with Neptune being in retrograde, that's kind of stripping away your self-defeating beliefs and delusions and kind of looking beyond those fantasies. So, if you were in that over-giving energy and now you're kind of shifting into a little bit more ruthless energy, kind of stripping away the delusions that, I have to constantly be giving and giving and giving in order for this to work. All right, let's take a look at what is happening with your life path and mission. Okay, and there you have your Two of Wands in reverse, your Eight of Cups in reverse, and the likely outcome is the Five of Wands. So your Two of Wands in reverse, you've kind of been at a point of indecision and not really knowing what path you're being called to. And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes there's, maybe there's multiple paths that you're wanting to be called to, or a few things that seem appealing, and you kind of just don't really know which way to go. And you're currently stuck in this energy of you're avoiding change. You feel stuck. You don't know which way to go. And that's something, it will probably take a lot of meditating and trying to figure out which direction. And with your likely outcome being kind of a conflict or rivalry. So this is something, maybe it's a matter of possibly butting heads. Maybe let's see if we can do like a clarifying card in terms of what the conflict is, usually with your life path. Let's see if there's something else that comes out that's helpful. And that is the Three of Wands in reverse. And so that's kind of clinging to the past, and that is, it has to do with obstacles and some frustration. So it could be a matter of, if you had some decisions and you were trying to decide what way to go, it might be a matter of needing to let go of some of the things in the past, because that's just going to create conflict and rivalry for you in the future on your path. So however that resonates for you, and remember, as always with these readings, take only what resonates and leave the rest behind. But if that sounds familiar for your situation, then hopefully this information is helpful. Let's take a look at a Gaia card and see what message is coming through. Night Wind. facing fear, subconscious release, and healing. And, wherever that feels most applicable for you, if you had been kind of stuck in that energy of not really knowing what you were being called to do, some of it could be a matter of there's some fears about, well, what if I go this way? Or even, as we were talking about, like from a job perspective, where you had all this enthusiasm and then there was kind of that block of creativity or that little bit of an obstacle and you're moving forward. Some of that's a matter of releasing some of those fears. If you had fears that were keeping you blocked, but then that way you get to heal and move on. Okay, let's pull a light worker card for you as well and see what comes through there. All right. Sisterhood of the Rose, beauty and devotion, priestess, mystic, and teacher. And it could be that you're being called to do something more with some of your spiritual gifts. And I know sometimes, depending on what your upbringing has been, that could be something where you feel like that kind of creates some conflict if other maybe members of your family don't necessarily believe in those in that sort of spirituality, and it's like, well, but no, you should be focusing on your job, focusing on this, focusing on that. It could be creating some of that conflict for you and having that feeling like it's keeping you stuck, where it's like you want to move forward but you don't really know, and you're worried about the conflict that it would create. But again, with that North Node in Aries and being unapologetically you're the one that has to live your life every day, and no one else is living in your shoes. So you need to kind of face that fear and have that courage to stand up for what it is that you feel that you're being called to do in this lifetime. Let's pull a romance card and see what comes up there for you. Keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. And that's something, if you're single and you're looking to be in a romantic partnership, it can also be a matter of, as we move through these retrogrades and you're looking at what are your patterns, what are your usual types. If you've had some rough patches with relationships and it's like, oh, the same thing. It's like, why do I keep choosing the same type of person, this type of person, that type of person? Kind of keep an open mind and think about, even if so-and-so is not your normal type of person, well, maybe that's what you need. Maybe you need to be able to see things from a different perspective. And if you're already in a relationship, this may not be as applicable, but you can also, I feel like with these, with the romance deck, put that towards your passions. So if you were dropping that down here, saying kind of keep an open mind. So if you're looking at a few different kind of callings and maybe you're trying to choose between, should I go this route, should I go that route, keep an open mind that going down, the road less traveled, can sometimes bring you some amazing results too. So if you're looking at it down here on your life path mission line. But as I said, take only what resonates. There might be parts of this, depending on what area of your life we're looking at, maybe parts of it resonate, maybe parts of it don't. But if there's information here that you think somebody else may benefit from, certainly welcome you to share this with them. And I will also be doing, in about a week, doing another twin flame reading that I will post. And then I'll also be doing the second half of August. I'll be doing one of those readings. As always, I have the daily single card pulls where we're looking at one major arcana card and then a few oracle cards. So if you want to be notified when those new videos post, make sure to like and subscribe and hit the notifications. Otherwise, I wish you joy and peace along your journey, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.